is Wednesday. It's the 22nd of January. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Our top stories today. Human rights groups around the world are closely watching a trial that began today in China's capital, Beijing. But the man who's being tried isn't saying anything at all. Xu Zhiyong is accused of gathering a crowd to disturb public order by organizing protests against government corruption. Authorities are also taking a harsh line with reporters covering Xu's trial. CNN's own David McKenzie got a taste of that himself. Take a look at what he experienced earlier today. He filed this report.
So we're heading towards a court in Beijing where a prominent activist goes on trial today. Why? This is a public space. There's no need to shout at me. So the court is just behind us. They're physically manhandling us. They're physically manhandling me. This is a public space. I'm allowed to report. I'm allowed to report. We are reporters. We are reporting in a public space. Ow. Hey, do not physically manhandle us like this. Other international journalists were roughed up during the trial. One policeman told me. Police and the plainclothes guys drove us to the street corner several blocks away from the court and then just dumped us on the side of the street. We would be shooting this with our camera, but they entirely tore off the front section of the viewfinder so Charlie can't use it.
And David McKenzie joins us now live from CNN Beijing. David, amazing what you experienced there. And all of this is happening. A trial of a man who is said to be fighting for transparency in the government, while there are now new reports of hidden foreign bank accounts of the political elite. What more do we know about that?
Well, that's right. These explosive new allegations that are coming out from a long research project by a group called the...
Chaos in Kiev, where 3 Ukrainian anti-government protesters have been killed in early morning clashes with police. The activists are angry at the government for passing a controversial law limiting their right to protest. More details now on today's developments. CNN's Donna Magne joins us now on the line from Kiev. Donna, give us an update exactly what happened today.
Well, Monita, I'm overlooking the protests, which is still going on. I'm basically looking...
You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Coming up... You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. No way. That's how U.S. Secretary of State describes a future with Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad as part of any transitional government. John Kerry was speaking in Montreux, Switzerland, where top diplomats have gathered to try and find a solution to the brutal civil war, which killed more than 100,000 people in the last 3 years. Well, Syria's foreign minister dismissed Mr. Kerry's comments and said that while the West claims to fight terrorism, it secretly feeds it. CNN's senior international correspondent Nick Robertson joins us now live from Montreux with more details about these opening statements. And if they're anything to go by, Nick, it's going to be a long road ahead.
It's going to be a very long road ahead, and that's what we've been told by diplomats here to expect a very drawn-out political process.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Nick Robertson there live for us from Montreux in Switzerland. Well, while those diplomats speak in the safe confines of a hotel in Switzerland, civilians continue to bear the brunt of Syria's civil war with scars that are visible and the deepest that aren't. Atika Schubert went to the Zaatari camp in northern Jordan and tells the story of one young survivor whose emotional wounds are all too clear to see.
Safa is 6 years old, living in Zaatari for nearly a year now with her parents and 5 siblings, all girls.
We're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Let's get a check now of the weather conditions, particularly for those of you in the United States, northeastern part of the United States, where it's pretty darn cold. Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center with that. Mari, it's not just northeastern U.S., I have to say. Pay tribute to my family there in Canada.
There you go. That's right, in Canada. Very cold temperatures indeed. You know, you think, it's winter. People should be used to this. But no, this is an extremely cold shot of air that's coming down. Maybe not as cold as the polar vortex. Here comes another one. Back to you.
All right, Mari. Thank you very much for that. Well, after he was stuck in sea ice, a polar expedition leader may find himself in some hot water now that 52 passengers stranded in Antarctica have finally made it back to Australia. Some questions about the trip are being raised. Anna Korn has the details.
After almost 2 months at sea, these weary passengers were all smiles as they finally set foot on terra firma.
Well, the exact amount of the rescue is still unknown, but as you heard Anna mention there, if it costs up to $2.1 million US, that works out to more than $436,000 per passenger. And finally, it seems like lightning does strike twice, at least in Rio de Janeiro. Repairs are underway to the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue. It was damaged during a storm last week and struck by lightning in the past. You are watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. I'll update the news headlines in just a few minutes.